Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thunder Ridge Homestead. I haven't been on. What can I say? I've been crazy busy. But we're still alive. The tree landing on our head did not kill us. God is good. God watches over us. And, you know, when you have blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing, and you worry about things that go on, you know, and have these worries, and you take them to the Lord, and then your needs are met, you know. And when that happens to you enough times in your life, you just get to where it's good, you know. You just accept it, you believe it, there's no doubt. I remember one time when I was first going on disability that basically we weren't going to have my income, you know, because I was a full-time worker and we were losing my income, and I really wasn't sure whether or not I was going to get Social Security disability. I physically was unable to work. I was just crazy stressed out. And, you know, fortunately, you know, we've always done this homesteading thing. So I had, you know, a stocked pantry, I had a stocked freezer, but you have the uncertainty, you know, you don't know if you're going to make your bills or not, and it was just extremely stressful. And so as a Christian, I was always told, you know, take it to the Lord, let Him take care of you. And so I did. And I was getting pretty specific, you know, with God, because I would have something that I would say, oh no, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I would just be, you know, fretting about it. Well, at the time, one of our things that we did not have stocked up was, and we didn't live at this house either, we lived at another house, and we heated with wood. And we did have, you know, a normal furnace, a natural gas furnace, but primarily we heated with wood. And I didn't have any firewood. And I thought, well, you know, what would happen if I didn't have any, you know, enough money to pay a gas bill, and I didn't have any firewood? You know, I was just going to be in a terrible state that winter. You know, no income, I couldn't buy anymore. And I was freaking out. And so I was praying about it. And I was just, you know, it was something that I woke up in the morning and I was worried about, and I went to bed at night and I was worried about, and I prayed about it. And what happened was, it was like one of those God things. It was like late at night, and in the fall, and I heard a chainsaw going, and it was like outside the backyard, and it's like, what is a weird thing, you know, why is there a chainsaw going in the middle of the night? And we were in a neighborhood, and I looked out the door, and in my neighbor's backyard there is a man from the Power and Light, and he's out there, and I guess a limb had fallen down on the light wires, and they were out there doing an emergency trim up job of my neighbor's tree to get the limb off of the lines. And I kind of spoke to the man, and he stopped, you know, working, and he looked at me, and I said, I just didn't know what that was. And he goes, oh, we have this tree, and he goes, I've got to take this limb off tonight, and then we're going to take some more of the tree down tomorrow morning. And I said, oh, I said, wow. I said, well, what do you do with that wood? And he goes, would you like it? He said, this tree's, you know, standing dead. He goes, I'd be happy to cut this up and let you have the wood. And I said, that's great. I said, but it would be a lot of trouble, because I said, our fireplace, it takes stove length, which is like shorter lengths of wood. It doesn't take like the 18-inch logs. It took like the 12-inch logs. And I said, that's what we take. So I said, that's probably too much trouble for you. He says, oh no. He goes, we got to cut it up anyway. So I kind of shook my head and went to bed, and, you know, said my prayers that night. And the next morning I woke up, and the trees, people from the city came out, and they cut the rest of the tree up, and they cut it up in stove-length wood, and they stacked it in my yard. And I mean, it wasn't like a full winter's worth of wood, but it was probably a quart of wood. And I was like, I couldn't believe, because that was something that I had just really, been fretting about, because I had lost my job. And here, the Lord had delivered me a quart of wood to my backyard, no cost, no trouble on my part, nothing. It just was handed to me. And I'm like, wow, that's God providing. That's pretty good. So a little bit later, because you got to worry. You can't just not worry. I had the wood, but then I started thinking, I haven't had the fireplace cleaned out, and I don't think I could afford to get the fireplace cleaned out. And even though I've got this nice wood, if I burned it, I'll probably have a chimney fire, because that's how your worries work when you have, you're focused on something and you just worry about it. And so I made a call to the fireplace company, and I said, how much does it cost to clean out the fireplace? How much is your charge? And just the current amount. So I had that amount in my mind, and it was like $112, I think, just to do a fireplace cleanup for the winter, for the year, or chimney cleaning. And I was like, okay, so I had that number, and I was looking at my papers, and I was like, there's just no way that I'm going to have enough money to do that. And it was not even a full day, and I got a phone call. And probably 6 or 8 months back, I was cleaning up and trying to, get rid of a bunch of stuff, and I had some items that I didn't want or need anymore. And it was what it was an old doll collection that I had when I was a kid. There was just some dolls, and they'd been sitting around, and I didn't use them, and they were just, either moved from one corner to the other, and the most recent times they'd just been in a box in the attic, and it was like, this is just silly to have this stuff here. So I took it to a consignment shop and left it. And like I said, it was 6 or 8 months before this whole fireplace fiasco happened. But on the day of, I'm focused on this $112 that I, did not have, and the phone rings, and it's the lady from the consignment shop, and she calls me and she says, I just sold your dolls. And I said, wow, you did? And I said, well, how much? And she said, I'll be, if you can come to the shop and pick it up. She goes, I have a check for you for $113. And I was like, what? So the amount that I needed to clean my fireplace was $112, which I did not have. And then the Lord provided by selling those dolls on that day $113. So it was like, to me, it was like, well, I've got you covered, and I'll give you $1 to spare. And don't worry, everything's good. So, and yeah, it's, when you have stuff like that happen, it's an emotional thing. And, but you realize, God really is taking care of me. And not only is He taking care of me, He is being very specific. So it's like there's no way possible I can have any other thought but to think, hey, this is a God. This is God. And He's listening to my prayers. He's answering my prayers. He knows the anxiety within me, and He's taking care of that. And, it's a wonderful thing being a Christian. It's a wonderful thing being a child of God and having Him to trust and having Him love us that much that, yeah, He cares about those little stupid things, in the middle of the night that we worry about. He hears us and He cares. And I've had several times that I've had things happen in my life like that, very specific. No way, I never told another soul No way anybody would know my needs except for God, and He met the needs. So I had a tree fall on my house, and I wasn't killed. I had a tree fall on my house, and our gas meter was missed. I had a tree fall on my house, and really the only damage we suffered was to the house. Our furniture is okay, our animals are okay, our, everything is safe and everything is taken care of. I had a tree fall on my house, and that should be, oh, I had a tree fall on my house. But God's taking care of us, even in this. He's got a plan. I'm not sad about it. I'm not upset about it. I am not freaked out about it. I am living with some irritation because of some of the things that are going on. But it's okay. God's got this, and I'm okay with that. I hope me sharing this kind of lets you guys understand a little bit where I come from when I say I'm a Christian. We serve a powerful and amazing God, and I'm thankful we do. Anyway, if you're tired of being alone in the world, the answer is easy. Just pick up the Bible, start reading it, and put your trust in Jesus Christ, and it's an amazing thing. Well, that's a little introduction that went someplace I really wasn't planning it to go, but it went there. So anyway, I want you to just know that we're okay. So thanks for watching. Share this if you liked it. See you in a bit.